Hello and welcome to This Week in Videogames. Hope you've been having a wonderful week. I myself have been great. I've been playing some Returnal in preparation for my review. Saw the Mortal Kombat movie. It was dumb in all the right ways and I enjoyed it. Watched Falcon and the Winter Soldier finale. Enjoyed that too. Speaking of comic book movies, did you know that Zack Snyder originally wanted to name Batman vs Superman Son of Sun and Night of Night? That is a true fact that I'm not making up. Google it. Zack Snyder is to movies what Kojima is to video games. Utterly ridiculous, but we love him anyway. On to the gaming news. Knights of the Old Republic, the greatest Star Wars game ever made, possibly the greatest Star Wars thing ever made, is being remade. The news comes from Jason Schreier, who appeared on the MinMax YouTube channel, where he confirmed that the remake existed and that it was being made by, wait for it, Aspire Media? If you don't know who these guys are, you're not alone, because neither did I. Turns out they've existed since 1996, where they specialized in porting games from Windows to Mac. More recently, they've been porting games to mobile and Switch, including stuff like Jade Empire and Knights of the Old Republic, which they ported to iOS in 2015. It's unclear at this point where this new KOTOR sits on the remaster versus remake spectrum. I'd be open to some gameplay changes to touch up some of the more dated aspects of its RPG and combat, but if they touch the story, I'm gonna go full Kylo on their ass. No release date on this one yet, since it hasn't even been formally announced, but it probably isn't anytime soon. Remember Humble Bundle? I remember way back when Humble burst onto the scene as a fantastic way to give to charity, because publishers would give games to Humble really cheap, and then Humble would sell them to us really cheap, and most of the money would go to charity. It was great. Then, a few years ago, Humble Bundle got bought by IGN, and everyone was like, this isn't gonna end well. Sure enough, this week Humble Bundle announced some changes to the way that donations are priced into your purchase, disabling a slider that lets you set custom amounts and capping donations at 15%, but defaulting them to 5%. The move has been roundly criticized by long-term Humble Bundle supporters and subscribers, since the whole point of the Humble Bundle was donations to charity, and 5% is like less than what you'd tip your waiter if they left a steaming deuce in your salad bowl. Despite the backlash, IGN had little in the way of sympathy, responding, "Hello, I like money." Speaking of bad customer service and steamy deuces, CD Projekt Red released some Cyberpunk sales data, and it too is a little on the nose. The official CD Projekt Red Twitter account tweeted out that Cyberpunk had sold 13.7 million units in 2020, making it one of the highest selling debut games of all time. That's cool and all and would typically be cause for celebration, but given how CD Projekt Red misled and mistreated console owners, it feels like they really shouldn't be taking these sorts of victory laps. CD Projekt Red also released the console PC sales split, revealing that 56% of copies sold were on PC, 28% on PlayStation, and 17% on Xbox. This PlayStation figure is a little surprising given the fact that the game is still not available to purchase through the PSN. Finally, CD Projekt Red also released some information on Cyberpunk Refunds, revealing that some 30,000 refunds were issued by CD Projekt Red themselves. This doesn't include refunds from other storefronts like the PSN or the Xbox Store, or any physical retailers like Best Buy, Amazon, GameStop, etc., many of whom relax their normal refund policies. Even then, it's difficult to imagine that refunds put a dent in the 13.7 million units shipped. CD Projekt Red said they're in on Cyberpunk for the long haul, determined to fix bugs and ship the promised DLC expansions. Let's hope they take their time with it, release it when it's ready, and provide console review code well ahead of launch this time around. Switching gears now, let's talk about some Xbox news since it's been a big week for them. First up, free-to-play multiplayer games are now actually free-to-play on Xbox Live. Before then, you had to pay for the Xbox Live subscription. Now you can play Fortnite, or Apex, or COD Warzone, or Warframe, or Destiny, or whatever, without having to pay Xbox to play your games online, a luxury that PC gamers have enjoyed since Neil deGrasse Tyson invented PC gaming back in 1975. Okay, so this next piece of news sounds a little dry, but it's a low-key, huge piece of news that has the potential to be a bit of a game changer. This week, Microsoft announced that it was beta testing cloud gaming for Windows 10 PC and Apple products. When this is fully released, it will mean that you can pay for an Xbox Game Pass Ultimate subscription for like $15 a month, and then you can play Game Pass games through web browsers on phones or PCs. Functionally, what this will mean is that you won't need to own an Xbox or a powerful PC to play latest gen games. You can do it on your iPhone or your crappy 10-year-old computer that still has a CD-ROM drive built into it, because remember when computers used to have those? This is one step removed from xCloud's final form that Phil Spencer hinted at long ago. A small USB stick that you can plug into your TV, or an app just built into your TV that will let you play Xbox Series X games or max spec PC games on your TV without ever having to purchase any expensive hardware at all. That future is coming, and this news today is an important step toward it. Don't believe me? This week, Sony announced that their cloud streaming service, PS Now, would begin streaming in 1080p. Before then, the service was capped at 720. So yeah, Microsoft aren't the only ones with their head in the clouds. Hey. Please click like on the video. Anyway, back to Xbox. Remember that controller drift lawsuit they were facing? Turns out that's getting settled out of court. We don't know the details yet, but if you have a broken Xbox controller, you can probably expect 0.00001 cent in about 7 or 8 years' time after Microsoft finalizes the terms of the settlement. One settlement that couldn't be reached was between Microsoft and Discord, who this week ended talks. Various outlets were reporting that Microsoft was attempting to buy Discord for a cool $10 billion, but the Wall Street Journal reported that this week, Discord pulled out of the talks as it's now looking to go public at some point. Bad luck, Microsoft. Can't win them all. Very sad news this week for Overwatch fans. Game director Jeff... Wait, what's his last name? I just know him as Jeff from the Overwatch team. Jeff Kaplan. Jeff Kaplan is leaving Blizzard after 20 years with the company. Instrumental to the design of World of Warcraft, he would later go on to serve as WoW's game director before cutting over to lead the ill-fated Projekt Titan, an MMO that famously never got out of the gates, but the offcuts served as the foundation for Overwatch, a hero shooter that would take the world by storm. Jeff's departure is ill-timed, not only because it comes as many senior Blizzard staff have left the studio, but because Jeff was leading the creation of Overwatch 2, and it's never a good sign when a game lead steps off before their game is shipped. No one knows exactly why Jeff left or where he's going, but the big money's on former Blizzard CEO and co-founder Mike Morhaine's new Dreamhaven studio, which has been vacuuming up a whole bunch of veteran Blizzard talent. Best of luck, Jeff, and thanks for making some cool games while being a cool dude. We'll all miss your updates and the way Dino Flask edits them to make you say dumb stuff.
2 to the 1, from the 1 to the 3. What's up? This is Jeff from the Overwatch team, making changes that you wouldn't believe gonna take you out with a long-range beam.
Jeff wasn't the only game lead jumping ship this week. Sean Eskag, whose surname I'm almost certainly mispronouncing, was the writer and creative director of the Avengers campaign, but he has now left Crystal Dynamics and has returned to his previous place of employment, Naughty Dog. Now, I've been known to throw the odd jab at Marvel's Avengers every now and then, but let the record show that this man did a good job. If there's one thing that the Avengers got right, it was the campaign, with some nice story beats that brought a smile, and some set-piece mission design that very much delivered. The campaign showed us a vision of what Marvel's Avengers could have been, had the game not been cynically built as a live service platform designed to promote bubblegum and cell phone providers. The hype cycle for the next Battlefield game is heating up, and we're already getting some interesting details. This week, EA DICE put out a statement saying they intended to reveal the next Battlefield soon TM, and that it's their biggest, most ambitious title yet, leveraging DICE, DICE LA, Criterion, and a separate technology team in Gothenburg. More tangibly though, we learned that DICE are working on a Battlefield mobile game. This is going to be an entirely new Battlefield experience specifically designed for mobile. It's unsurprising given that mobile shooters are very big business at this point, and some of them aren't terrible. Here's hoping that DICE serve up something worthy of the Battlefield franchise. Remember how your parents said you'd never amount to anything if you spent all that time playing video games? Well, they're probably right. But now, like 0.00007% of us could be Olympians. That's because the International Olympic Committee just sanctioned the first ever video games Olympics titled the Olympic Virtual Series. Most of the events aren't video games per se, more like virtual recreations of things like cycling or rowing, but one of them is a video game. Gran Turismo is now officially an Olympic sport since it will be the game used as part of the racing category. You gotta wonder whether or not the Olympic drug testers will outlaw G Fuel as a performance enhancer, but then you remember that it's basically just sherbet mixed with caffeine and you realize they'll probably be fun. So what got announced or delayed this week? Well, no delays, but plenty of announcements. First up, Phantasy Star Online 2 New Genesis is confirmed for a July release, though no specific date has been provided yet. This is a sort of remaster thing that basically changes up the combat and the visuals of Phantasy Star Online 2 while leaving most of the rest intact. Kind of a weird direction to go, but hey, the game is popular, so why not? The Great Ace Attorney Chronicles was announced this week. The package brings together 2 Ace Attorney games that were previously only released in Japan. These games follow the story of Ryunosuke Naruhodo. That sounds about right. Anyway, he was Phoenix Wright's ancestor, and he solves crimes in the Japanese Imperial era with a quick stopover in a London court. That sounds like fun. It's arriving July 27th on Switch, PS4, and Steam. Tales of Arise arrives, well, that's hard to say. Tales of Arise arrives September 10th for PS4, Xbox One, and Steam. It's the 17th main entry in the acclaimed Tales series. I have not played any of them, but there's 17 of them. So they must be alright, or, I don't know, they keep making Fast and the Furious movies, so, I don't know, who knows. Elite Dangerous gets its Odyssey update for PC on the 19th of May. Other platforms will get it later on. I'm a little bit surprised by this, as the update was still being alpha tested just a few weeks ago, so obviously they were further along than the alpha label implies. The update adds lots of new shit, but in particular the ability to get out of your ship and explore the surfaces of planets. Elite is an intimidating franchise, but a much loved one that seems to be only picking up momentum as more and more people realize that Star Citizen will never release, because it's probably a Ponzi scheme that Hollywood will make a movie about in 10 years. Chernobyl Light is one that you probably haven't heard of, but I've been keeping an eye on it. It's an RPG survival horror game where you gather supplies, craft, and build to survive the irradiated wasteland known as the Exclusion Zone. This has been in early access for a number of years, but a recent overhaul of the game has pushed review scores up to 86%, very positive on Steam. It looks a little janky, but I'm pulling for this one. It's out July on PC, PS4, and Xbox. No specific date yet. The most exciting announcement this week was the reveal of Apex Legends' new Arena game mode. They are bringing a round-based Counter-Strike/Valorant game mode to Apex Legends, where 3v3 teams will duke it out for up to 9 rounds, with a shop in between each round letting you purchase weapons, upgrades, and charge rate towards your ultimate, since all existing Apex characters are playable in the game mode. I'm actually really excited about this. Along with the story beats and characters pulled straight from the Titanfall storyline, the Arena mode feels like the closest thing we're going to get to a new Titanfall game for a long time. Valorant and CSGO are a little twitchy for my taste, and I don't love Rogue Company's third-person perspective, and well, the less said about Destiny's PvP at the moment, the better. Apex Legends Arena mode could fill a void that needs filling right now, and I'm very pumped to check it out when it goes live next week on the 4th of May. So, what came out last week? Well, Orbital Bullet arrived on PC. There's only 46 Steam reviews at the time of writing, but it's sitting at around 93% positive. It mirrors some very positive feedback from when the demo was released during the previous Steam Festival. No reviews out for this one yet from any major publications, but yeah, side-scrolling roguelike shooter that seems like it's pretty good. Biggest release of last week was, of course, Nier Replicant. If you're wondering where my review of that is, I got my code a little late, and I've also been busy with Returnal, so I'll be jumping into Nier soon, since Automata was one of the greatest games I've ever played. The Replicant remake has gone over well with critics and fans, sitting at 84 critic and 90 user score on Metacritic. The PC port is meant to be a little shaky, surprise, surprise, but on other platforms it seems to run well, and critics all agree that while the mechanics and gameplay aren't as refined as Automata, the story, setting, and music are the brilliance you'd expect from Taro and Okabe. So what's coming out this week? Well, first up, the Genshin Impact update arrives for PlayStation 5 on the 28th. It brings 4K 60fps performance as well as some new textures. It arrives at the same time as a major content update for the game, so that's that. Total War Rome Remastered arrives on the 29th. It's funny that this one really doesn't have a lot of hype or marketing behind it, but it's coming. It promises refreshed visuals, 16 additional factions that were previously locked, as well as some gameplay tweaks here and there. It's coming exclusively to PC, since trying to play Rome with a controller would be interesting. Now, I didn't even know about this until I was preparing this episode, but there's a new Pokemon Snap game coming out this week, on the 30th to be precise. For some reason, the idea of being a virtual tourist snapping up photos in a Jurassic Park style on-rails adventure sounds appealing. Maybe it's because we've all been stuck inside for a year, I don't know. As you'd expect, it's exclusive to Switch, and yeah, Pokemon Snap 2021, there you have it. Terminator Resistance is getting a next-gen enhanced version this week, but for some reason it's exclusive to the PS5 for now. Xbox and PC owners will get the update later on. It's free if you've already purchased a copy of the game, and it adds 4K 60 FPS, graphical enhancements, gameplay tweaks, and a new game mode. This one was a bit of a surprise. It's one of the few licensed games that managed to do good things with the source material. I plan to take a look at this when it arrives on the 30th. The big release for the week is PS5 exclusive Returnal. Now, I have finished it, but I'm under embargo, so I can't share any more details than I already have in my preview of it. Link in the description below. The first 2 hours I had were fucking awesome, and I'm very excited to share the rest of my thoughts with you when I'm allowed. Returnal arrives on the 30th. Put this on your radar.
A huge enemy swarm is surrounding our base. We need to go back.
Okay, rift jump to base.
The first attack is coming from the east.
Okay, let's leave some presents for our guests.
The Riftbreaker looks like what you'd get if Tychus from StarCraft 2 had his own game. You command this badass looking mech thing in what is essentially a tower defense game, except there are plenty of missions which push you beyond your walls for various reasons. The range of weapons looks impressive, the enemy count is thick, and the explosions look explosion-y. I think this looks like fun. Feedback from the demo was very positive. No release date for this one yet, but Riftbreaker will be out at the end of 2021. The demo is still up on Steam, by the way, so check it out for yourself and don't forget to wishlist it if it tickles your fancy. Short and sharp sort of free stuff section this week because there's not a whole lot. Game Pass got its refresh and it added MLB The Show, Fable, Second Extinction, and Destroy All Humans. Epic also gets its refresh on the 30th. You can still download Alien Isolation and Hand of Fate 2, but soon you'll get your hands on Idle Champions of the Forgotten Realms, which is a free-to-play game, so this giveaway is for a champion pack apparently, worth like $100. I don't know anything about this game, but it's Dungeons and Dragons strategy game. It's sitting at 74% positive on Steam. That's all I got for you. Now finally, we are still waiting on the PS Plus games for May, but when it comes to games with gold, Xbox aren't stringing us along. When you've got a lineup this strong, you've got to get the word out early. You can't delay. People have to know the greatness that awaits. Wait, that's Sony's line. Anyway, this month in games with gold, you can expect Lego Batman on Xbox 360, Tropico 4, Xbox 360, Dungeons 3, and Armello? Honestly, the best part of Games with Gold at this point is going to the YouTube channel where they announce it to check the like ratio and the comment section. It's totally my kink. Trust me, you gotta try for yourself. Our feel-good story for the week, ladies and gentlemen, comes courtesy of Carney Jared, a Guitar Hero streamer who this week did something that everyone thought was impossible. Solar 6 is a song that was originally made as a joke within the Guitar Hero community because it would essentially require 4 hands and superhuman speed to play it, like if the Flash and Goro had a baby. Well, Carney Jarrett may be that love child because this week he did this.
I just fucking got it! Oh my god!
If you think that was hard, you should try finishing Returnal before the review embargo. God damn, man, I deserve a medal. But yes, I have finished it and my review will be out this week. I'm not allowed to say when yet because that's how review embargoes work, but if you hit the subscribe button and turn on the notification bell, you'll know the minute that vid is live, and all my other videos as well. Drop the video a like if you enjoyed the video. I mean, I earned a like just for the head in the clouds joke, right? Come on now, let's be fair. Thank you all for watching. I'll see you next week. Thanks for watching my video. If you liked it, give it a thumbs up. If you didn't, give it a thumbs down so I know to do better for next time. If you enjoyed yourself, consider subscribing, and if you really enjoyed yourself, maybe consider hitting that notification bell so you never miss a video. You can see my patrons here on the left. They're awesome. They're amazing. If you want to join them, check out my Patreon page. Thank you again. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.